Good morning. The Finance Committee of the 4th Reserve District of Cook County will come to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Beavers. Commissioner Beavers is absent. Commissioner Butler. Commissioner Collins. Commissioner Daly. Commissioner Daly is absent. Commissioner Fritchie. Commissioner Gaynor. Commissioner Gaynor is absent. Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Gorman. Commissioner Murphy. Commissioner Reyes. Commissioner Daly is present. Commissioner Schneider. Commissioner Silvestri. Commissioner Sims. Vice Chairman Steele. Commissioner Suffredin is absent. Commissioner Tobolsky. Chairman Goslin.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. The Secretary has informed me there's a quorum present and we can conduct the business of our committee. Are there any changes?
There is an errata, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, there is an errata.
Errata.
Yes, that has been distributed.
Okay, fine. Any members having changes? There being none, allow me, as we begin the meeting, to wish all of you a very happy and healthy New Year, 2002. I look forward to working with all of you this year. And as always, thank you for the privilege of allowing me to serve as your chairman of the Finance Committee. First item of business is disbursements. Vice Chairman Steele.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We want to move approval of disbursements, item number 12FINA001 through 12FINA0013, pages 1 through 3 on the finance agenda.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Silvestri.
One comment, Mr. Chairman.
The exception of item number 11. Mr. Beavers will be added to the roll, please. With the exception of item 11.
With the exception of, let's move that with the exception of item number 11.
Second by Mr.
Yes.
Silvestri.
But I have a question. I do have a question.
Question by Mr. Silvestri.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the errata. What is the reason for number 11 being excluded?
I apologize. The errata indicated that the item was being withdrawn at the request of the department.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Opinion of the chair. Carries. Committee reports. Litigation. Commissioner Silvestri.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the Finance Subcommittee on Litigation report of December 15th.
Excuse me, sorry.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Butler. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The opinion of the chair. Motion carries.
Let's see what goodies they left us.
Recommendations. Vice Chairman Steele.
I want to move approval of the bid recommendations, items number 12FINA0015 through FINA0020.
Is there a second? Commissioner Daly, seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the motion carries. Receive and file the revenue report. So Vice Chairman Steele.
I move to receive and file the revenue and expense report for this period. That's FINA 0021 on the agenda.
Seconded by Mr. Schneider. Before we begin and consider this, I would leave to ask Mr. Thomas to give us a brief review of this report. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
He yells out.
Just wanted to go very briefly through the highlights on the revenue and expense report. Property taxes, you'll note this report is through November, so we had an additional month of December that we're reconciling now. We do anticipate the year coming in between $3 and $4 million over the budget, predominantly from one-time TIFs expiring and surplus proceeds coming to the district, so a very one-time property tax. We don't anticipate that for the next year. Same thing on personal property taxes. The tax from the state came in a little bit higher. Again, this is very volatile, very economically sensitive, and so we've budgeted a little bit higher for 2012, but not much. And then the other most significant thing that varies from previous months would be the miscellaneous income number, and that number looks very high. You'll note the budget was $25,000, and we've got it booked right now as $570,000. Again, a very large one-time income. We have had revenues from ordinance violations that have been booked as a liability for several years, and in consultation with our council, we've determined that that can now be booked as revenue. And so that's a one-time revenue that we don't anticipate seeing again for a while, if that makes sense. Any questions on the revenue side?
On the revenue side, Commissioner Collins and then Commissioner Daly. And add Commissioner Gaynor to the roll.
Actually, you kind of clarified the issues that I was concerned in the time. And so now, what are we planning to do to make up for the shortfall? Because we're now getting ready to go into the next budget. And do you see in a way that we will be able to do that.
Right now,
Could you repeat
I'm sorry.
for me, because we're talking, the shortfall after the final bills comes in? Could you tell me the total now again? Would you repeat the total that you anticipating?
For which item? The property tax item?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we had budgeted 39 for the year, and it's coming in. We'll reconcile the numbers throughout January and February before we complete our audit. But right now we anticipate that to be about 43. And so, you know, again, $3 to $3.5 million of that was unanticipated from TIF's closing.
Okay.
So
when you're doing your budget now, because there's several things happening in property taxes. A, the value of the homes are going down, no doubt about it. B, people are just not able to pay property taxes. And so in terms of revenue projections for this fiscal year as you work on the next budget, you need to really do some research and look at it from a more global standpoint when you come up with your budget estimates, because you have to look at those factors. Otherwise, if you do the spending on the spending side, anticipating revenue that's not a stable stream, you can end up into some serious problems. So that's more what I was concerned about.
Thank you. And for the 2012 budget, we did budget a loss in collection anticipation in our property tax budget.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Daly? Commissioner Daly, did you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reference to the fines, I see the fines are up, and is that better enforcement or?
It's been a combination of better enforcement and as well as just how the fine trend has gone.
Okay, thank you. Because it is.
Any further questions on the revenue side?
Commissioner,
Commissioner
Daly, it really has a lot to do with the administrative hearing process.
That's what I mean.
Doing
Yeah,
a better job
so
of collecting
a better
that.
job, right? So that's a positive that we should stress.
Right.
Any
Mr. Chairman?
questions? Gorman? Yes, Commissioner Brown.
Thank you. You mentioned about the outstanding fines, Mark. Do we have a lot of outstanding fines that need to be collected, or?
No, it's not a matter of them needing to be collected. We had collected them, and we anticipated that there could have been some litigation against them, and so for years we've sort of held them as a potential liability.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So we had actually collected the fines, but weren't comfortable booking it as actual revenue. So we left it in a liability just out of anticipation of any possible litigation.
Okay.
That period seems to have passed. In consultation with counsel, we feel like now we can substantiate booking it as actual revenue.
Okay.
We've left a nominal amount in there because these are ongoing. And so there are some more recent ones that we hold a little bit back as liability, and down the road we'll be more consistent about periodically booking it as revenue as opposed to it all accumulating as a liability for months, years.
All right.
So we'll continue to see it. It'll just be less of a lump sum one-time booking as revenue than it has been.
Yeah, I was just
in the
curious
past.
if there was a collection issue, because now that with our hearing officers hearing, some of these,
Right, and that was because the
fines.
administrative hearing process was new.
Right.
We wanted to get through a full year of that, and now we've done that, so we're comfortable booking that as actual revenue.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Tobolski?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you were saying there were $3.4 million over, and is
In the property tax collection versus the budget.
okay. So has that been rolled into this year's budget, or?
But we're not anticipating that additional. Those are one times because when TIFs have closed, we've gotten them. And
where is that money going to go?
So that'll fall to the fund balance, and when we reconcile the rest of the year and complete our audit, that'll just add to whatever fund balance we anticipate.
So it'd be extra money.
It would just.
It's probably not put into the budget for this year.
That's correct.
Just because
we did balance the 2012 budget by using a large chunk of fund balance, though.
Right.
So that's why that sits there. So the board has created regulation that we need to have a rainy day fund, if you will.
Right. So is that where that's going to stay?
That's what this is. Right.
Okay, because I just always like to make the pitch for my friends at the Brookfield Zoo to the superintendent there, who could use any penance that we could give them.
We all could. Yeah.
So keep that in mind as we move forward. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Mr.
Steve.
Chairman.
Any other questions on the revenue side? Now the expense side, Mr. Thomas?
On the expense side, the same story we've had. Expenses are below budget, very largely due to a lot of vacant positions that the district has had for quite some time, and as we're filling those towards the end of 2011, We've seen the monthly variation decrease, and as we move into 2012 and we have additional hires coming on, we're hiring every week and trying to fill our vacancies so that our staff is fully up for the year. So we don't anticipate as large. This is basically a vacancy loss that you can attribute most of the reduced expenditures to for 2011. For 2012, we do not anticipate that because we anticipate having the positions actually filled.
Any questions on the expenses? There being none, the question is, shall the revenue report and expense report be received and filed? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, motion carries. Commissioner Vice Chairman Steele moves that we stand in adjournment. Second by Commissioner Gorman. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, motion carries. The meeting is adjourned, and the next meeting of this committee is Thursday, February 2nd. Thank you.